This program is brought to you by realestate.com.au. Keep moving with Australia's #1 address in property.
Welcome back. There are about 3,500 properties scheduled to be auctioned this week. Sydney will hold about 1,300. Melbourne about 1,400. Brisbane about 140. Adelaide about 200 and Canberra 109. Taking a look at the most viewed properties going to auction this weekend, and in New South Wales, the top property is 552 Pittwater Road, North Manly. This home has 3 beds, 1 bathroom, 1 parking spot, asking price $1.75 million. The top property in Victoria is 218 Shute Street, Murraylock. This townhouse is being billed as a blank canvas, ready to be renovated. Asking price for this 2-bedder is about $540,000. The top property in Queensland is 31 Clara Street, Annerley. This brick home could do with a renovation as well. It's got 5 beds, 2 kitchens and 2 baths. The top property in South Australia is 49 Landauer Avenue, Evandale. This classic-looking Adelaide home has a lovely sandstone facade. Inside it's got 5 beds, 2 baths, lots of parking. Asking price $1.6 million. And the top property in Western Australia is 24 Eora Creek Terrace, Dianella. This large 1980s-style mansion has 4 beds, 2 bathrooms and a triple lock-up garage. The asking price is $1.4 million. And the most viewed property on the REA Group website this week is a giant mansion in Western Sydney, located just a few kilometres away from the under-construction airport. The address is 47 Twin Creeks Drive, Luddenham. There's a main house and a guest house on the 4,400 square metre site. The design and layout feels more like a palatial resort rather than a home. There's palm trees, giant lawn, a spa bath, a 22-metre long pool. The home has 6 beds, 8 bathrooms and parking for 7 cars. There's a home theatre, library, games room, grand atrium, wine cellar, wet bar and 2 kitchens. The home's part of the Twin Creeks estate and it backs onto the golf course, so naturally there's a golf buggy parking garage as well. The agents are taking expressions of interest for this one. And for more on property, I caught up with Anne Flaherty a little earlier.
I think it's a great time to be a buyer. We're starting to see interest rates come down and, of course, there's a lot of choice out there. So if we compare how many properties are on the market this weekend, it's not just auctions that are really strong. We're also seeing in general across our capital cities around 13% more homes for auction compared to the same time last year.
Yeah, and what cities are doing better than others when it comes to stock levels right now for buyers?
Well, actually, buyers in most cities are doing pretty well. The vast majority of cities around Australia have seen double-digit growth year on year in the total number of homes for sale. Adelaide is the standout, though. We've got nearly 30% more homes for sale in Adelaide compared to a year ago. I think part of the reason here could be to do with people feeling like property prices are really high in Adelaide at the moment. And of course, that seller confidence is very strong. And buyer demand is pretty good as well. But if we look in the other capitals, Sydney is another one where we've seen a 20% rise year on year in for sale listings. Melbourne sitting at around 13 to 14% higher. Canberra, another one, up 17%. The only really exception that we're seeing is Brisbane, where we've actually seen a bit of a decline in homes for sale. But I think this is really to do with that disruption that we saw from the hurricane.
Yeah, and obviously we've seen the Reserve Bank cut rates already last month, and they could potentially cut rates in May. Is that giving some positivity to buyers out there, giving them some confidence that potentially they'll be able to borrow more money and potentially find their first home?
Absolutely. We know that when interest rates are moving down, we really see a big boost to buyer confidence and, of course, consumer confidence. People feel more confident about the market in general. And the overwhelming expectation is that we're going to see a rate cut sooner than later. Most forecasters are predicting a May cut. And what that will mean is that not only will people be able to borrow more, borrowing costs come down, but some buyers might see it as a sign that home prices might start to rise and pick up further, because we know, all else equal, when rates are lower, we typically see stronger home price growth.
All right, a bit over 3,500 properties up for auction this weekend. What sort of stock levels are you expecting for the coming weeks?
Look, we do expect things to slow down over the Easter period. People go away and we typically see a bit of a lull in the market. So it'll be interesting to see in the weeks following Easter what kind of a pickup we get. I do suspect we'll continue to see pretty strong stock levels on the other side of Easter. Again, coming back to that environment of lower interest rates, higher confidence. We know from our own market research that we're continuing to see pretty strong seller confidence across most markets in the country. The one exception to that is Melbourne, where we're really seeing very, very strong buyer confidence, but sellers are still a little bit cautious about current market conditions.
Yeah, and just more broadly, how have auction clearance rates been tracking over the past few weeks?
So the clearance rates are still not really where we were seeing them a year ago. They're still holding pretty resilient in the sort of low 60% on average. It does vary by market, but I think that with so many auctions coming up this weekend and this close proximity to the Easter holidays, we might actually see a little bit of a dip in the clearance rate this weekend and next. So there's still a lot of uncertainty there around the potential impact that Easter's going to have on the pretty high volume of properties for sale.
And Flaherty, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.